In late 1896, I received a hurried note from Holmes asking for my attendance. When I arrived, I found him seated in a smoke-laden atmosphere with an elderly woman of the buxom landlady type in the corresponding chair in front of him.
This is Mrs. Merrilow of South Brixton. Mrs. Merrilow does not object to tobacco, Watson, if you wish to indulge your filthy habit. Mrs. Merrilow has an interesting story to tell which may well lead to further developments in which your presence may be useful.
Is there anything I can do?
You will understand, Mrs. Merrilow, that if I come to Mrs. Rondeau, I should prefer to have a witness. You will make her understand that before we arrive.
Lord bless you, Mr. Holmes. She is that serious to see that you might bring the whole parish at your heels.
Then we shall come early in the afternoon. Let us see that we have our facts correct before we start. If we go over them, it will help Dr. Watson to understand the situation. You say that Mrs. Rondeau has been your lodger for 7 years, and that you have only once seen her face.
And I wish to God I had not.
It was, I understand, terribly beautiful.
Well, Mr. Holmes, you could hardly say it was a face at all. That's how it looked. Our milkman got a glimpse of her from the upstairs window, and he dropped his tin, and the milk spilled all over the garden. That is the kind of face it is. When I saw her, I happened to her unawares. As she covered up quick, and then she said, "Now, Mrs. Berto, you know what lost it is that I never lift my veil."
Do you know anything about her history?
Nothing at all.
Did she give references when she came?
No, sir, but she gave hard cash and plenty of it. Oh, a quarter's rent, right down on the table, in advance, and no arguing about terms. In these days, a poor woman like me can't afford to turn down a chance like that.
Did you give any reason for choosing your house?
Well, mine stands well back of the road and is more private than most. Then again, I only take the one, and I have no family of my own. I reckon she had tried others and found that mine suited her best. It's privacy that she is after, and she is ready to pay for it.
You say she never showed her face from first to last, save on one accidental occasion. Well, it is a very remarkable story, most remarkable. I don't wonder you want it examined.
I don't, Mr. Holmes. I am quite satisfied so long as I get my rent. You could not have a quieter lodger or one who gives less trouble.
Then what has brought matters to
Well, her health, Mr. Holmes. She seems to be wasting away, and there's something terrible in her mind. Murder, she cries, murder, she cries. And once I heard her, "You cruel beast, you monster," she cried. It was at night, and it rained from the house and sent the shivers through my body. So I went to her in the morning. "Mrs. Rounders," I say, "if you have anything that's troubling your soul, there's the clergy." And I say, "And there's the police." Oh, and she says, "Oh, for God's sake, not the police. And the clergy can't change anything that's passed." And yet she said, "It would ease my mind if someone knew the truth before I died." Well, I says, "If you won't have the regulars, there is this detective man we read about, begging your pardon, Mr. Holmes, and she said, oh, she just jumped right up. "That's the man," she said. "I wonder I never thought of it before. Bring him here, Mrs. Merlot, and if he won't come, tell him I am the wife of Rounder's Wild Beast Show. Say that and give him the name of Alice Paulus. That will bring him, if he's the man I think he is."
And it will, too. Very good, Mrs. Merrilow. I should like to have a little chat with Dr. Watson. That will carry us till lunchtime. About 3 o'clock, you may expect to see us at your house in Brixton.
A visitor had no sooner